I recently had a wonderful experience as a person and as an entrepreneur. And that is, I recently got rid of a few toxic people in my life. And these are really nice people. Some are even family and close friends. And but I had to come to realize they weren't good for my personal growth because they didn't want to grow, and they didn't want me to grow because they didn't want to be left behind. Or that they are insecure about their own surroundings, and therefore they needed me to be in certain box, certain mode, so they feel that they can survive better. And I'll give you some examples. But what came about this change in me was that around Thanksgiving time, I had a few days off, and I was Googling something about persuasion in sales, and what came up in my search was this video called Dangerous Persuasion. It turned out to be a crime documentary, and what's different about these videos was that the victims actually survived, and they are doing quite well. And the harm done to them, I mean, there was a lot of physical harm, but they were mostly, they came from words. It started with words. So you could Google the videos yourselves, but basically the criminals could be a priest or a husband or just a straight up criminal. They would use the power of words, the power of persuasion, to keep their victims in place, even though the victims had opportunities to escape. The victims chose not to escape because they believed in the words of these perpetrators. And I looked at my own life, even though my friends and family weren't so bad to that degree, the process was very similar. For example, a family of mine would call me just to put me down. He would say, over the years, he would say that I was slow. I was slow. He used words like medically slow or medically. I feel like he used the word retarded, but I have to go back to my notes to be sure. But recently, when Trump was in office, he would call me and say that Trump is like, basically people like me are doomed because of Trump, but he will do okay because he's powerful and strong. And a good friend of mine, is really sad I call him a good friend of mine, whom I've known for 18 years, because when I was younger, I had hope and dream to thrive in the piano education business, and he would use that dream and hope to lure me in so that he could be part of my life. So for example, he would say, I will go with you to the street to give out flyers. This is like 19 years ago. And I would say, okay, and then we'll go to the corner in the city, and I swear to God, like, he didn't give out any flyer. And although I attempted to for maybe half hour. And so then, disappointed, I went home, and he followed me home, and he just kind of stayed for the next 8 hours. And I was kind of confused. This was my first 6 months of doing business, and I just didn't know what he was up to. As the years would go on, I found out that he probably had used similar tricks to kind of lure friends in. I guess higher quality people that would never really be his friends, had he not offered to help. Um, so this kind of just went on, and again, a lot of it's just my personality of never really learned to say no, and kind of just dealt with the situation without fighting back. I should have fought back and made a clear decision that this kind of friendship wasn't what I wanted. So I just kind of went along, and before you know it, 15, 18 years went on. So I cut him off clearly, definitively, recently. So that's the second person. And the third person was actually a very dear friend of mine, and was really sad to have to cut him off. But again, it always, when we first met, it started out with just white lies, and because I didn't know his background, I believed him. He was actually my tenant, so he really had no reason to lie, and so I believed whatever he said. It turned out that the little white lies, he built on them, and because I was never able to made reference to his claims, I had to believe him. And the lies made by the nicest people in the world are most lethal, because you believe them more than a mean, nasty person. And so this went on for about 8-9 years, and he brought me a lot of happiness and a lot of benefits and laughter. He did try to help me with my career, but all in all, if you add everything up, I'm in the negative. So I'm in the negative with all of these 3 people that have been in my life for 20 years, 18 years, and 8 years. And I'm really happy that I continued to thrive even with these people in my life. And so once I got rid of them, I have enough quality in my life about myself, about my business, to move forward even more. And so I would encourage you to take an inventory of the people who are in your life, if they are doing you good service or disservice. And if you're able to draw the line, that's probably the better way to do things. But since I'm not able to draw the line, I just have to get rid of them in my life. And I made it clear to them that no matter what the benefit have been and will be, I am no longer interested. I will take my dream and my hope for my business and my life in my own hands, and I will no longer believe what they have to offer as a friend or as a contributor in my business. And I hope you can, if you find some kind of story in this that could benefit you, your life, and your business. If you have any comments or suggestions, please comment below, and I will do my best to respond. Thank you very much.